Well, it didn't take very long for the horrific shooting, the mass murder in Orlando, to turn to gun control. That was very predictable, and of course that has happened. And as we look at this, remember that it was fast and furious, where the administration, not only Obama, but also the George W. Bush administration, because this is something that is part of the Washington establishment, the bureaucracy, the ATF, shipping guns across the border in order to undermine and destroy the Second Amendment. Now what we have is not guns in this, but we now have gunmen being shipped across the border. That's what Barack Obama is doing with his version of Fast and Furious. But let's take a look at the reality of what happens. In Orlando, this happened again in a gun-free zone. If you have a concealed carry, you're not allowed to take it into a bar, for example. This is reported by the New American. They say a concealed weapons statute says that a license issued under this section in Florida does not authorize any person to openly carry a handgun or carry a concealed weapon or firearm into any portion of an establishment licensed to dispense alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premises. In other words, this could be done at any bar, anywhere in Florida, because they're all gun-free zones. And of course, the New American asked the question, well, what would have happened if somebody had been there with a gun? They could have stopped it in just 3 minutes. And they give you a couple of examples. If you think that's an exaggeration, they say that's how long it took to end the potential killing spree at Vaughn Foods in Moore, Oklahoma. Remember that in 2014, where an irate employee cut off someone's head? Okay. It didn't take very long before somebody who had it concealed. It was about 3 minutes before somebody with a concealed weapon shut that down. Then again, there was another attack in January 2014 at the Mystic Strip Club. A guy got upset. He returned with a handgun, gunned down the bouncer, killed a patron, killed a waitress, but another bouncer who had a gun killed him and did that in about 3 minutes. That's how long it took for a doctor at Mercy Fitzgerald Hospital in Philadelphia to end the rampage in July 2014. You had a psychiatric patient who wanted to commit mayhem and murder, but he was shut down by a good guy with a gun. Now, I think it's interesting that before this happened, a week ago, we were going to cover it on last Tuesday's Nightly News when we did the live coverage of the last primaries in California, because there's massive gun control bills coming out of California. And Jakari and I had this to talk about the fact that the NRA had already cut and was running in California to try to oppose these newer, more draconian gun laws in California, where they already have more gun laws than anywhere else. And they cut this ad to show a woman being attacked in a parking garage. And then they cut another version for LGBT voters. And the title of this is, and we're going to show this, you can see that right there. You can see that he was attacking her in the parking lot. The title of that is Take Away Our Rights, Take Away Our Life. And that's what you see at the very end of that. They ran one with women, and then they ran another one with the transgender people. They said they were going to target that in areas with large concentrations of LGBT Californians. And then we see, less than a week later, that's precisely what happened. But they're not allowed because it is a bar. You can't carry that. Now, we've seen record gun sales through May, and I'm sure it's going to pop up. We've already seen gun stocks take a huge surge on Wall Street today in the aftermath of this. Every time this happens, the public knows that you need guns to protect yourself, even though our politicians want to shut that down. And of course, we've had 13 months, every month setting a new record high. How do we know that? Well, it's because the FBI is doing background checks on people when they buy this. This doesn't even include private sales that are happening. But even with the background checks at a retail outlet, we see this happening. But what do the Democrats want? The Democrats want more gun laws, saying that that's going to shut this down. And of course, key on the gun control list is background checks. Did that really make a difference with this particular individual? Let's take a look at his background, okay? This is a guy who worked for the largest security firm in the world, G4S, okay? He worked there for 8 years, since 2007. So he is vetted by the largest private security firm in the world. He was also vetted by the state government. Look at this article from Breitbart. Omar Mateen was background checked and had statewide firearm licenses, okay? Number one, he possessed a security officer license in Florida, but he also possessed a statewide firearms license. Background checks are required for both the security officer license and the statewide firearms license. Those checks included a thorough criminal check as well. He would have had to pass such checks in order to acquire his licenses and to possess firearms. Now, this is from somebody who has been an FBI person of interest. He's been investigated 3 times by the FBI because of his connections to radical Islam, as well as complaints of other people. So here's someone, the largest security firm in the world, 8 years. He's been investigated by the FBI 3 times. He's been given state licenses, statewide firearms licenses. He's been investigated when he bought his guns, okay? None of that made any difference. None of those background checks made any difference. They're doing this simply to shut down your ability to protect yourself, just like they shut down your ability to protect yourself if you have a concealed carry. If you've gone through and been completely vetted, they don't want you to be able to protect yourself at any bar. And then understand that it wasn't just the private security firm, the state government, the FBI that vetted him. Also, Homeland Security. He's part of a group that is tasked with transporting illegal aliens who are other than Mexican further into the country. That's part of the work that he does. And of course, this private security firm also does guarding of federal buildings. They also do guarding of nuclear reactors. So that should make you feel real good about the background checks. And if they're doing those kinds of background checks to him and he's getting a pass, and oh, by the way, when the FBI did the investigation of him, they came in, they said, well, why did they investigate him? One of the reasons that they investigated him was because he came from the same radical mosque where a suicide bomber in Syria came from. Now, FBI Director Comey said the FBI could find no connection of consequence. They said that a witness told the Bureau that he also had watched a lot of, talked a lot about Anwar al-Awlaki, the guy who was assassinated by drone in 2011. And one of the reasons that Comey gave for shutting down the investigation was that he was a security guard. He'd been investigated by that private security firm as well. So you see, all these different agencies are looking at this, and everybody says, well, everybody else passed him, so I guess he's okay. I guess that's the way it works. Now, what is the real issue here? Well, Obama is telling us that he's a homegrown terrorist, okay? But there's some other issues as well. If we go back and we look at where he was radicalized, where it's not just that he was radicalized because he was an American, okay? He was also had a lot of different influences on him. One of those key influences, besides his father, okay, who was not expressed really any grief as far as I can tell or any sympathy for the victims. He simply said in passing, well, God will take care of punishing the homosexuals. We don't really need to do that ourselves. But he didn't condemn the actions of his son. I didn't see him offering any sympathy or condolences to the victims' families. No, he just said God will take care of those people. You know, he's going to take care of them, so we don't have to do it. But he also was sitting at the feet of a guy named Marcus Dwayne Robertson, also known as Abu Tabah. He managed to convert 36 people while he was in prison to his poisonous version of Islam, reports the Daily Mail. He spent 4 years in jail. He was considered so dangerous that he was kept shackled with his own security detail away from other inmates. He was radicalizing people inside of the prison. They believed that he radicalized 36 other people, so they kept him in solitary confinement. Now, he'd previously been a Marine. He was also a bank robber, and then he turned FBI informant, but eventually the FBI said that they gave up on him when he attacked his CIA handler. So you got the FBI, you got the CIA. You got all these people connected. Finally, he was thrown back in 2011. He was thrown back into jail for tax fraud. Prosecutors tried to get another 10 years added to his sentence after discovering documents preaching terrorism. But a judge released him last year. So you see how this goes? We've got the FBI involved with him. They don't do anything. The CIA doesn't do anything. They make him an informant. And then you've got a judge who releases him in spite of all this that happens.
A lot of people ask me, what is the most important area of InfoWars that runs the whole operation that is having such a big effect against the globalists? And I've said it over and over again, it is you, the listeners and the viewers, that send us the intel, the news tips, that support the broadcast, that spread the word. You are 90% of the operation or more. You don't stand beside us, you stand at the heart of InfoWars. When I talk about the people at InfoWars, from customer service, the shipping department, being just as important as our anchors, our researchers, our investigative journalists, and myself, it's absolutely true. Without this team that we've built over the last 20 plus years, we wouldn't be able to do any of what we've been doing. And that's what's so exciting, because we finally built up to a point where we now have the launch pad. Introducing AutoShip for InfoWarsLife.com, a new way to save time and money when you stock up on InfoWarsStore.com products. Again, ladies and gentlemen, when products are sold out, you're unable to get them, sometimes for months, but we hold back the products for people that have already signed up for AutoShip. When you choose AutoShip before checkout on your order at InfoWarsStore.com, we'll give you 10% off and give you guaranteed delivery of out-of-stock products that are on your AutoShip list. Plus, we're giving you free shipping on all orders above $50. Listeners have been requesting this for years because it's so easy to forget to reorder the products when you need them each month. Now it's finally here. AutoShip at InfoWarsStore.com and InfoWarsLife.com. It's easy. Go to InfoWarsStore.com, select your favorite product, click on the AutoShip, and choose how often you want us to send you another order. As you know, I coined the term 360 win, and with the new AutoShip feature at InfoWarsLife.com, it's a sure win. You add to that free shipping on orders of $50, it is a can't lose. Visit InfoWarsStore.com and save 10% off on your next InfoWars Life order by selecting AutoShip at checkout, and get free shipping on all orders above $50. That's InfoWarsStore.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139.